blink, blink, ding, bling. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ling, 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 ding, 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 a ling, 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 a ding, 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 ding. Dink, 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 ding, ding, dink, dink.
Welcome to Ho Yeah Podcast. If you see something, say something. I was trying to come up with like an airport.
I had no idea where you were going with that. I was just like, oh, she's trying something new.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Amy. How are you?
I am doing all right, Jackie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It just kind of hit me yesterday that you will be living in my town in what, less than 2 weeks?
Literally 1 week. Next Saturday. We're recording this Friday. So the following Saturday, I will be driving my Saturn on up to North Carolina.
Oh my God. This is going to make my pandemic so much harder. Everyone's been like, oh, it's so hard to quarantine. And I'm just like, I have no friends here. I moved here and like a few months later, almost a little less than a year later, the pandemic hit. So I have not been like missing out on anything.
Well, I've got the vaccine. I've had both doses of it. So I'm just like, get out of here, girl. Come over.
We're going to sneeze into the sky.
Can't wait.
Open mouthed.
Open mouth. No, we'll be careful. But yeah,
I don't have my vaccine.
I know, you need to get it. It's crazy. It's bullshit. Come on, people. Let's get it going, y'all. I went to Publix today, and they've got the vaccine, and people. I was like, why the shit is Publix so busy? Ugh. And then I realized it was for the vaccine. I'm like, oh, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, Publix is a grocery store in Florida, but it's like it basically rules Florida.
Yes. Everybody goes there. We all love it. There's really no other grocery store except for Winn-Dixie.
And I'm not going there.
More like Winn-Dick me, am I right?
Yeah, more like suck dicks me? More like lose Dixie.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyhoo. Yes, I'm very excited about the move. I've got, just so much to do. But it's almost what's gonna happen, and I've been saying this, like, I'm so obscenely busy right now, like with moving, training my replacement, having to come home and do even more work, just everything that
subletting your apartment,
subleasing, fighting with one of the tenants that lives here that's just literally dumping trash all over the
a pipe
lawn.
Burst the other day in your
it's just so much. And I know that, like, and I'm like, there's just too much going on. And I know the minute I get up there and, like, everybody, my dad leaves and you guys go to work and I have that whole week before I start my new job, I'm just going to be, like, sitting alone on my mattress on the floor in my apartment, just like, oh, God. What have I done? Just FaceTiming everyone back in Gainesville, like, hey, what are you doing? You hanging out? Cool.
Just leaving the phone on, not saying anything, just listening to, like, their silence.
Exactly. Just maybe some light crying,
No. Hey. You'll be unpacking and decorating, and I'll be sleeping over. And
yes, I can't wait.
I can't wait, too. I hope you like it.
Yeah, well, you better hope that I like it, or I'm leaving.
Well, today we're talking about season 4, episode 7. Happy Hanksgiving.
Oh, Hank.
And I'm so excited because this is going to be a nice, like, cathartic rage episode, I feel like, to just talk about how terrible the airport is. And maybe it'll make us all feel a little bit better that we can't travel places just yet.
Right.
So I am excited about that.
I know. Last episode when we were finishing up, and man, you instantly were like, and I hate Spirit.
Oh, I can't wait. I hate it so much.
In the last episode, Jack, I don't know if you guys heard it, but Jackie mentioned to me about a video of this man who just laid down on the floor, and
That's right.
she sent it to me, and it was fucking hilarious. We'll include it in the Instagram post somehow for this episode. Well, you gotta check it out. So go look at our Instagram, Ho Yeah Pod, and you can see that poor soul.
It made me feel so much better seeing him just laying face down on the floor.
That's awesome.
But as terrible as the airport and flying is, and it is terrible.
It is.
It will be nice to eventually be able to travel someday. And I mean, I hope you don't mind if I jump right into shout outs.
Of course not.
But I have a semi shout out, a halfie, and it goes to a listener. I don't have their name on hand because you sent me a screenshot, and their name's not on there. But a listener messaged us, and right?
Yeah, on Instagram.
Yes, okay. They messaged us and said that we inspired them to book a trip to New Orleans after hearing our, quote, beautiful imagery of Louisiana.
I know. I loved that. I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting.
I know. Let me see if I can find their name. But shout out to you. I hope you will have a wonderful time. But that made me really excited to hear that we inspired someone and to hear that they're taking a trip somewhere. Maybe they've never been.
I know.
How exciting.
It's Alexandra_McKen.
Awesome. Well, keep us posted on your trip. I'm not sure when you're going, but let us know what you thought.
Yes, please do. All right, and I got one from iTunes, and it is from Violet Blue, Bleu, very fancy, 777, and the subject says, butt pipe. This podcast won't plug it. I also have one more shout out, and this one is from an email that we got. It is from Dave P, and it says menstruation meditation. Beautiful. So they sent us a really thoughtful, lovely email about the Aisle 8A podcast episode. It is a little bit on the longer side, so I'm just going to kind of paraphrase some things, but they start off by saying, I've been listening for a while now. Obviously, I love the show and the deeper dive into each episode of my all-time favorite animated show. I do find listening to you to be like listening to close friends as I drive home and unwind from my day. I even find myself sometimes sitting in my garage listening and waiting to find a good stopping point before I turn the truck off and head inside.
That's how I listen to podcasts too.
That's great. It's a good little decompression before you get inside. And then they go into the episode Aisle 8A, and they say, during the period stories version, which as a 40-year-old man who is the only child of a single mother with a wife and 5-year-old daughter, I was listening with interest about the experience of menstruation that they do/did/will go through. I found one story laugh out loud funny. The long and short of it was the poor girl thought her period was anal leakage during ballet practice. Amy, after hearing the story, comments, "Is that a haiku?" Now I'm throwing my head back and laughing. Maybe the original was, maybe it wasn't, but I had to write one. And this is their haiku. At ballet practice, anal leakage, I thought. No, my period arrives.
Can you say that again?
Yes, of course. At ballet practice, anal leakage, I thought. No. My period arrives.
My period arrives.
It's beautiful.
Wow, that is beautiful.
So thank you so much, Dave, for that incredibly insightful and beautiful email. There's a whole lot more besides just the haiku that's really nice and really thoughtful, but I just wanted to highlight this email because it's clear you really, really put a lot of thought into it, and it really made my day to read it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a gentleman in their 40s listens to us. That's very cool.
Hell yeah. We're in our mid-30s almost, so.
I know, isn't it wild? Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow. 40s is like, that's going to be cool.
Primo.
Yeah.
It's good
50s
stuff.
will be hard.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, who sent that?
Dave P.
Thank you, Dave P. Dave Precious.
Oh, you know it.
And, well, I don't have any more shout outs. So,
all right.
Should we get into Patreon?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we have some. Let's see here. Actually, I do not think we have any new ones.
Oh.
We don't.
Okay. Well, I would like to just give a little extra shout out to the Patreons we do have currently, yes. Who joined us for the watch party, which was so much fun.
Always.
Wonderful. And somebody had their cat there. Oh, we saw Laura's girls. We saw children. It was great. I spent like a solid 30 minutes just waving.
I know. I couldn't see Laura's webcam for some reason, and I was like, what is Jackie waving at? And then I started to think, I was like, is somebody sending her a message privately? Like, is somebody like trying to mac on Jackie, and she's just like, hi, I see your message.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for saying I'm real hot. Preach.
You know what's weird? For the watch party, I've never thought this before, but I had a moment where I was just like, what if Amy's getting all of these messages privately just saying that she's everyone's favorite or something? I had like like, they could be doing that. It's
Do
just so
not
fun.
Start that again.
Well, I don't blame them if you are. But
oh, stop. Oh my God. No, I've sent private messages accidentally, but it was like some weird comment on the episode that we were watching. I was like, oh shit, sorry. That was meant for everyone.
Oh, there was one watch party in particular where I kept private messaging one person. It just kept going back to them. And at one point they were just like, I'm the only one who can read this. So I've done it too.
I bet they felt good, and then they were just like, okay, this is sad. She can't figure it out.
Yeah, especially when it's something like Peggy blah, 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 right? And they're just like, yeah, I guess so.
You're like, man, I thought that joke would have killed with everyone. I guess not.
Everyone's
only one person.
But that's about all I have to say about that.
Well, then let's get into the episode, shall we?
Why not?
Hey. Why the heck not?
What else are we doing?
Nothing. Ain't shit.
Just twiddling our butts. Oh, I will say, speaking of butts, I have a bidet now.
Really? I thought that... Okay, but I said that I was afraid, like, I thought we agreed you wouldn't get a bidet. I realize that's what that's starting to sound like. Okay, but I remember talking to you and I said, but what if, like, you accidentally poop all over it and then you like, go to clean your butthole and it just splashes poop back at your butthole?
Well, I have not experienced that yet, but
that's good.
The way it's set up, it's pretty tucked away. Okay. But I suppose you could. Right. And that could be an issue. I haven't come across that yet. I'm still learning how to use it. Will bought it. I don't know. Apparently he had been just doing a bunch of research and decided to get one. And he was like, I'm getting a bidet. And it came the next day. So I was just as surprised as you are. But it cleans the back and the front.
Ooh.
But it does shoot out cold water, so I scream every time it does it. But I do feel very clean afterwards. I wouldn't say I'm comfortable going completely sans toilet paper. I feel like that's like a good helper.
Right.
But I have noticed a difference in
Wow.
my butthole. the health and happiness.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. I'll be the judge of that.
And turn around. Well, you know what? Maybe new apartment, a new way to clean my butthole.
Hey,
why not?
2021.
Yeah.
Let's have clean bees.
Clean, sopping wet bees.
Let's all agree. Everyone listening.
We're all gonna make this pact. I want everybody to get on it, because I thought we agreed you weren't gonna get one, but apparently you did. So now I have to as well.
I just want to emphasize that it was a surprise to me. I didn't know, and I didn't use it for a week.
All right, well, I'll let this go.
Okay,
but
and I did try and test it out, and it did squirt me in my boobs. So
hey, hello.
So it's been a bumpy ride, but
what an eager beaver.
Now I'm sitting pretty. Wink. Anyway,
now we can get into the episode.
Speaking of butts. So happy Hanksgiving.
Just do me a solid and hit talking to it and hit the mute. I just want to make sure before we even get it blasting.
Talking to it and then hit the mute?
Yeah, da 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 da, like that test you were doing. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, well, no, now I'm nervous, so let me try. Okay, great.
Very good.
Yay.
Okay. And can you hear Butley?
I sure can.
All right, I'm sorry, everyone. Just ignore that.
He's our soundtrack now. He's like our backing. He's going to be like our laugh track.
Our laugh track. Yeah. Don't validate it by giving it attention. Just ignore it. Okay.
Yes.
Air date. November 21st, 1999. Thanksgiving approaches. We see the guys, Hank, Dale, Bill, and Boomhauer standing in the alleyway. And you can tell that it's a holiday episode because they're wearing different clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes. It's always a special episode and a special time of year.
Mm-hmm. And so they're wearing stuff that maybe is a little bit more wintry. I don't know how cold it gets in Arlen, Texas, but they're wearing longer sleeves. Hank has a jacket on. Bill's wearing some kind of, I don't know, over flannel shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're standing out there drinking beer, and Hank is smoking a turkey in a turkey smoker powered by propane.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill is watching this, and he is licking his lips, and he's just like, can I come over for Thanksgiving? I'd love to eat some of your turkey, and I'm very lonely. And Hank says, sorry, we actually aren't going to be home for Thanksgiving. We're going to Billings, Montana to see Peggy's mother. And things are a little bit tense between the two of them. And that tension is spilling over onto propane. And Peggy's mother is starting to talk shit about propane. So I am going to smoke this turkey and bring it with me because, get this, she wants to go out to a restaurant for Thanksgiving.
How?
That's not going to happen.
She?
That's obviously crazy. She's insane. I'm going to smoke this turkey, and 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm going to prove her wrong about propane, and I'm going to have my Thanksgiving turkey to boot. Mm-hmm. So no, Bill, you can't come over for Thanksgiving. Oh my God. Is it super loud?
It's I bet you can barely even hear it on the actual audio. Like, I can hear it, but
if you can hear it, take a shot every time you hear a meow. Let's turn it into a fun game. Okay.
Oh my God, you're already all going to be hammered.
Yep.
There's one.
There's another.
2.
So now we know what oh my God. Okay. So Bill can't go to their house for Thanksgiving. But during this conversation, Boomhauer also says something mostly unintelligible, but we can kind of gather that he's maybe decided that he's going to go visit his mother in Florida for Thanksgiving. So the next day, we see Hank, Peggy, and Bobby getting ready to leave for the airport. They're packing up the car. No, they are loading the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Luann comes out and she's like, I'm excited to go too. I'm going to get to see my dad. I haven't seen him. He has a 1-day pass off of his oil rig, so I'm going with you. This trip means so much to me. I'll finally get to see my father after years. And Hank's like, okay, great. Well, give me your ticket and I'll put it with our tickets. That way we have them all together. And then Peggy pulls him aside and she says, Hank, you were supposed to buy Luann a ticket. And he was like, what? Why? And she was like, I told you to buy a ticket for the whole family. And he said, I did. I bought a ticket for everyone in the Hill family. That's you. That's Bobby. That's me. That's not Luann. Yeah, this is a dumb Hank moment.
It's shitty. Like, come on, Hank.
Yeah, the least he could do is be like, all right, I'll buy one for our family. Do you want me to get one? Does Luann need one too or something?
Well, and also,
even if he doesn't feel like she's a member of the family.
Okay, yes. And also, this is her family. That's her father. That's her dad that's going to be at the Thanksgiving dinner. And
her biological grandmother.
And her grandmother. Like, come on, what do you mean she's not family? You're less of a family to them than she is at this point. So get her the fucking ticket.
Yeah, this is a classic dumb Hank episode where he just isn't getting it.
And he's also being very hanky in this episode too.
Very hanky. This is a classic hanky episode.
Mm-hmm.
So Peggy's like, this is unacceptable. Luann has to come. It's like Amy was saying, it's her blood family.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to have to buy her a ticket at the airport. And Hank's like, oh, man.
Nuts.
Oh, dang it. Bill, being extra lonely this time of year, ends up offering to drive them to the airport himself because he just can't stand to be alone. He makes up a story that he has to go to the airport anyway to pick up his uncle, who just happens to be arriving at the same time they need to be dropped off, which just makes it even more sad because it's so transparent. It's like such an obvious lie.
I know.
But they take him up on it. He drives them to the Dallas airport, Dallas-Fort Worth. I wrote here, at the Dallas airport, Hank has about 50 extra sticks up his butt. And I think that's just him being extra hanky.
He is.
Because when you go to the airport, there are book smarts, there are street smarts, and then there are airport street smarts. And not everyone has them. But if you want to survive, you need to have them. Especially if you're flying around the holidays.
That's
Hank
right.
does not have these skills. He thinks following the rules will help him, but the rules don't apply at the airport.
They don't, and you have to be ruthless.
Mm-hmm. And cunning.
And, ready to do whatever it takes.
God help you if you have a suitcase to check. God help you. I wear like 50 fanny packs.
Exactly, like 10 layers.
Yeah.
18 pairs of socks on my feet.
They're not going to get me. And my mom and my grandma, when she was alive, they both used to give me such crap for not dressing up to fly like they did in the 60s. And I try to tell them every time, I'm like, you don't understand. It's not like that anymore. There's nothing classy about it.
Well, and also, like, it is the most uncomfortable physical experience in the world to be on an airplane, waiting in an airport. I mean, it's like a test of endurance.
The seats are so small
mental
now.
Endurance. They're so, as a fat person, they're small. Oh my God, it's like torture. And okay, we're already getting into the airplane hate talk. I guess we should.
As a tall person, I mean, say goodbye to your knees.
say goodbye. They're gone.
It's crazy. It's not, I can't imagine what flying used to be like. Maybe extra dangerous, but so fancy.
So luxurious.
So luxurious. Somebody was playing a piano and everyone, I guess, just had like couches for their seats. No seatbelts. Smoking.
There was like there was like 2 stories to it. The top was like this sick ass bar. Like, hell yeah, let's go do that again.
Yes. Everyone was hammered, even the pilot.
They still are.
Yes. Everyone got like 2 hot meals and they hated it. They're like, this is crap. But now we're just like, I would kill. I'm paying $20 for a hard-boiled egg and a slice of cheese. And I think I'm lucky.
I know. And so is everybody else. And in about 20 minutes, they're all going to be farting into their seats. Everyone. People are going to be running back and forth to the bathroom.
This is where your airport street smarts come in, because you know that once you're on that flight, you better have eaten your cheese, drank your 3 glasses of wine, taken 1 Tylenol PM, and passed out within the first 20 minutes. That way you don't have to exist in that fart nightmare. You just have to know. It's not something you can just learn. You just have to like have the knowledge. Yeah. It has to be innate. Anyway. So the second they get to the airport, Hank doesn't have any of these skills. So they pull up to the airport, they get out, they go to the check-in desk where you check in and check your bags. And the guy's going through his whole spiel and he's just like, you know, you packed your own bags? Yes. You know, do you have anything hazardous? No. You know, have your bags been within your sight this entire time? And then Hank's instead of just saying yes and like moving on, he's just like, well, there was like maybe a minute where my bags weren't in my direct line of sight when we were getting out of the car. I don't know. And the guy's just like, yeah, but it was only a minute, right? And Hank's like, well, it was probably more than a minute, actually. And Peggy's like, for God's sake, Hank, just tell him that they were in your sight. And Hank, being so hanky, is just like, I can't, this man is a federal employee. I can't lie to him. That would be perjury, Peggy. Dead. He would be dead if this was the wild. Immediately dead.
I know.
So they have to go through his bags, and it's just like a whole thing. It holds up everyone, holds up the line. It's such a hassle. And then Hank also has a propane tank with him. Hello, a pre 9/11 world. He has a propane tank with him. They would have tackled him and arrested him immediately.
I know.
He's like, oh, by the way, I have this propane tank I need to check, but don't you worry, this has been in my line of sight because I love propane. I can't take my eyes off of it. Mm-hmm. And we cut to him having to put it into a locker because apparently he can't take that on the plane.
Right. In any capacity, you cannot have a propane tank on a giant metal firebomb.
I would be terrified. I mean, you see what happens to your bottle of water when you go up into the air. It like crunches up when it like the pressure changes.
Yeah.
What is happening to that propane? I would be terrified. What is he thinking? He's such an expert on propane. What is he thinking? Anyway. So that's like a whole other hassle. And then on top of that, he needs to buy a ticket for Luann. So he goes up there in his hanky little walk and his hanky little mindset, and he's just like, I need one ticket for our flight that leaves in like 20 minutes. And the person at the gate is just like, all right, that's going to be $719. And Hank's like, what? I only paid $250. What? And the person is like, sir, you're buying this the day of. That's like common knowledge. It'll be more expensive. So Hank has to shell out this money, but he thinks it's unfair. He's not happy about it. That baby. Meanwhile, we see the Gribbles outside of the airport. Dale, Nancy, and Joseph have all gone together to take John Redcorn to the airport because he's visiting family in Arizona. And they drop John Redcorn off in the front of the airport for departures. He gets out and he starts to walk inside, and he kind of looks over his shoulder, and then Nancy's like to Dale, maybe I should go see John Redcorn off. I'll be back in like 1 second. And she just disappears into the airport with John Redcorn, and Dale is like, no problem, Joseph and I will just like go wait in the parking lot.
Crazy.
We cut back to Hank and Peggy and Bobby, and they're near the gate, or they're at their gate, and they happen to see Con and Min and Connie, who are also at the airport, and they're catching a flight around the same time. And Boomhauer is at the airport also, going to fly to Florida to see his mom. The airport is super crowded. Of course, it's Thanksgiving. It's the worst time of year to fly. It's a nightmare. People are just roaming around looking lost and angry. Mm-hmm. And to make matters worse, the weather has taken a turn, and now many of the flights at the airport are starting to get delayed, including Hank's. This just won't stand for Hank, and in his very Hanky way, he marches right up to the ticket gate, and he says something like, "Sir, if there's anything I can do to help this flight leave sooner, I would like to offer my services." And, I mean, my God. How is he still alive? The guy's like, "Sir, you can fuck off, please. I don't need you in my face right now. I will let you know when you can, like, stand up again." So Hank angrily, like, just marches back to his family. Tensions are, rising.
Oh, yeah.
People are starting to get real uppity. Peggy overhears a rumor from a nearby passenger that the flight is maybe not going to be able to leave. But if you take your ticket to TWA, which used to be an airline for those that were born after 9/11, if you take your ticket to TWA, they will honor your ticket or something, and you could catch a flight with them. Peggy hears this, and she tells Hank, and he's just like, "Peggy, that's third-hand gossip. We're gonna wait here, and they'll let us know when we can, like, get on the plane. I trust that it'll all work out."
Kind of sound advice, though.
Kind of sound advice, but I might go check it out.
Oh, I would go check it out.
Yeah, I would go check it out.
Yeah.
Hank refuses to check it out. So Peggy creates a diversion where she alerts Bobby that there might be cookies somewhere, and so he takes off, and she turns to Hank and she's like, "Oh, Hank, look, Bobby got away. We need to run and get him." And they go and get him. And once they snatch him up, then Peggy's like, "Oh, there was an announcement saying that, we can go to TWA and switch our tickets there." And Hank's like, "Oh, okay." And so they go to do it, and they head to the TWA terminal to switch out their tickets. We cut to Dale, who at this point is just roaming around the airport. God knows where Nancy is. She's still, I guess, seeing John Redcorn off. In that time, Dale has had time to park the car, go into the airport, wander around, and at some point lose Joseph because Joseph isn't around.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, and completely neglect to take care of his son.
We don't know what happens to Joseph.
I feel like he's still parked he's in the car, just like, waiting for Dale to come back.
I just remembered. At one point, Dale does give him a bag of fake coins or slugs, and he's like, "Take these to the arcade and have a good time."
Oh, damn, good memory.
Thank you. While Joseph goes to the arcade, Dale sneaks into an Admiral's lounge, and he grabs some snacks and lights up a cigarette. Thank God he has been looking for a place to smoke. But a staff member lets him know, "Admiral, you can't smoke in here." And he's just like, "Well, guess what? I'm not an admiral, so how dumb do you look?" And he grabs some snacks and he leaves. So now he's looking for a new place to smoke. There's an SUV on display, like you would see at a mall, and he gets into the SUV and pushes the little lighter button and tries to smoke in the SUV, but a security guard is like, sir, you can't get out of here. You can't sit in this car, and you certainly can't smoke in it. So Dale's like, oh man, and he gets out of the van or the SUV and leaves. But then we see two little heads pop up in the back of the SUV, and it's John Redcorn and Nancy, and they're doing it.
I would like to know where they haven't fucked, because I feel like any chance that they can bang, they don't really care where it is. I mean, they'll figure it out.
I know. Well, first of all, isn't he going to be late for his flight? And second of all, why didn't Nancy just drive him?
Right? It was like a whole family trip.
Yeah. So that was a close call.
No kidding.
So Dale gets kicked out of the SUV, and he is still trying to find a place to smoke. He finds a door to the outside, and he just like pops out outside of the door real quick, lights up a cigarette, and oh, thank God. He's able to fix that craving. But he turns and looks at the door, and it's one of those one-way doors, and it says no re-entry. And he can't get back in. He's trapped outside on the tarmac where all the planes are.
In the freezing cold.
The freezing Dallas weather. Who knew? We cut back to Peggy and Hank, and it turns out that Peggy overheard some bad information, and there are no... TWA doesn't have any flights going to Montana. So they go back to their original gate, only to learn that their original flight has officially been canceled until the next day, along with pretty much every other flight at the airport. They try to catch a bus to a nearby hotel where a block of rooms have been set aside for stranded travelers. Bill happens to arrive at the airport. He overheard on the radio that a lot of the flights were being delayed or canceled due to weather. So, just on a hope and a whim, he went back to the airport and was there just in case they needed to be picked up. So, he meets up with them, and he is going to drive them to the hotel. But then, like a doofus, he crashes into the back of a truck. So now they have to walk to the hotel, and they get there, and by that point, there's no vacancy.
Oh my God.
All flights in the airport have been canceled, so of course, like all the rooms in this hotel block would be filled up. So they take a cab back to the airport, and they end up sleeping in the terminal overnight on those terrible chairs.
I know, and they don't even sleep; they just are awake the entire time. Because how can you sleep?
I can tell you from experience that you can't.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh,
you can't. The next day, after an awful night at the airport, finally they get on a plane going to Montana. They're in line, loading onto the plane. Hank is about to go through the little doors that's on that runway tunnel that goes to the plane, and they're like, sir, you can't take that box. It's not going to fit. It doesn't fit in the overhead. It's not the right dimensions. And it's his turkey that he smoked. It's packed away in this box, and he's like, it's the right amount of space, it's just shaped differently than your standard, I don't know, whatever. He can't take it on the plane. He has to check it. That's all there is to it.
I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you. It's not gonna fit. He has to check it. He's not happy about it, but he has to check it. So everyone gets onto the plane. They're sitting there. Hank's looking, lucky him, he has a window seat, and he's looking out and he's watching the crew load the luggage onto the plane, and he spots his little box with his little smoked turkey, and he's just like admiring it, and he's like, I know there's a delicious turkey in that box, and soon I'll be eating you. Soon you'll be inside of me. I can't wait. But security is there with security dogs, and the dogs start barking at it because there's a delicious turkey in there and they smell it. Mm-hmm. But of course the crew doesn't know that. All they see are these bomb drug sniffing dogs barking at this box. So they think there's probably a bomb in there. Yep. So the bomb squad comes, and this further delays the flight, of course, but then Hank is watching all of this unfold. He just doesn't understand. There's dogs barking at his box. Then everyone clears. then the box is just by itself, and he's like, oh, I hope they don't forget my turkey. And then a man in like a spacesuit walks up to the box very carefully, and he puts something on it, and he kind of backs away, and he goes behind like a little lead shield, and then he just detonates the turkey. And turkey parts go everywhere, and they splatter the plane and the surrounding area, and Hank vomits all over himself. He's so horrified. He's just so overcome. He's just like, oh. And it smells awful.
I bet
everyone on the plane is sickened, and I'm sure a few other people throw up just smelling it.
And I'm sure they are absolutely furious. I would kill that guy if he was the one, if he tried to bring a fucking turkey on the plane, got the bomb squad called in, and then our flight canceled because of that, and he threw up. I would murder him.
That's so true.
I would end up being like, get out of my way, because I'm going to beat him mercilessly. Step aside.
People would be talking open shit about him. They'd be like, oh my God, somebody
that
threw up. Do you smell
idiot.
That? You know who threw up, right? You know who threw up?
I'd be very loud.
The guy with the turkey that we just had to blow up. No.
That fucking guy in his glasses.
And he just threw up on top of everything else he's done to us? That fuck.
That's exactly what would be happening. I would be so furious.
The nerve of that guy.
And now we have to get off the plane.
And now, guess what? Now we have to get off the plane. This was all for nothing. We have to smell his vomit for nothing.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that's exactly what happens. By the time the bomb squad finishes up, the rain has started again. The weather's no good, and now the plane can't take off. And so everyone has to get off the plane again. And Hank tries demanding that they give him a flight, and like, no, of course, you're nobody. You're gonna die in this airport.
And you also made us all think that you brought a bomb on the plane, so please sit the fuck down, take several seats, and get out of my face.
Yeah, and now the plane is gonna smell like vomit for a week.
Ugh, I'm gonna be scraping turkey giblets off of the damn plane.
Yeah. We're gonna be fighting off geese everywhere we go.
Geese just like attracted to turkey meat?
I don't know.
Those cannibalistic geese.
We're gonna be fighting off air raccoons everywhere we go.
Raccoons. They're a real problem in this area. I don't know why I didn't realize. Yes, of course, other birds eat other birds. Duh.
I don't know.
They do. They like hawks. Those things are mean.
Yeah.
All right,
buzzards.
sorry. Yeah.
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 They'll eat anything as long as it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So Hank, pitches a fit, has a little temper tantrum, but there are no flights leaving. The airport is completely shut down. There's nothing that he can do, except the person or whoever he's talking to at the gate lets him know that there is nothing flying out of Dallas-Fort Worth, but there is a flight leaving for Montana in 1 hour over at Love Field, which I guess is another airport.
It must be.
And,
I just said it must be.
It must be. It has to be.
What else could it possibly be?
It's either an airport or it's another John Travolta home.
Or it's just a trap.
Either way, there are planes flying out of there. Hank's like, Love Field, that's like all the way across town. I'll never make it. And the person is just like, well, there's a bus leaving for that airport in 5 minutes, so you better get your butt on that bus. So Hank and Peggy and Bobby start running. Ugh, we've all run in airports. The worst feeling in the world.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Awful.
The most helpless people all around you, and you just think like, can somebody please help me? Nobody can help you.
No. And they're all watching you.
Yeah, and nobody wants to help you because they have to help themselves.
And they're all thinking, you poor fucking idiot.
Yeah, you should have gotten here earlier.
Yeah, well, Good luck.
I
Keep on
always think
trucking.
that until I'm the one that's late. I should have gotten here earlier. They run. They get to the bus. It's packed. But there's just enough room for 4 people: Hank, Peggy, Bobby, Luann. So they squeeze onto the bus, and they've made it. They've made it. They're going to go to the other airport. They're going to get on that flight, and they'll make it to Thanksgiving. But then Hank has maybe his hankiest moment yet. Oh. He looks out of the window of the bus, and he sees a family of 4, like a mom, a dad, and 2 kids standing there in the rain looking sad. Sad for them. That is sad for them. That's none of my business.
And
that's none of my business.
Sorry
for them.
You're so slow at running.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It sucks for everyone. It's not just you guys. But for whatever reason, Hank sees them and he thinks, no, we should let them get on the bus.
I was like, I even wrote in the notes, I was just like, why the fuck did Hank, like, this is a regular, it's not like it looked like somebody who was like, I don't know, who could really have used this. It's not like he was like giving up money. It's a fucking plane ride. Like, so sorry.
If they just put
I sound like such an asshole.
No, that's how you survive. I literally wrote in my notes, I just wrote, why on earth, with a million question marks.
Exactly. No way. I would have been like, sorry.
Maybe if he met the dad in the bathroom at some point and overheard him saying like, oh, we have to get home for grandma's surgery or something. I don't know.
Right.
But if you did that for everyone that looked sad at the airport, you would never fly anywhere. Anywhere. You have to block those people out and just focus on where you need to go.
Exactly.
100 years, they'll be dead. Nothing matters.
It doesn't matter.
All right. So Hank sees this family and decides for everyone, sorry, Luann, you're not going to see your dad. Peggy, you're not going to see your mom.
I didn't even think about that aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did think, like, how dare he make that decision for them? But, oh my God, that adds just, like, a whole other layer to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, Luann. So he gives up all of their spot on the bus to let this family on. And they go back into the airport and they go to the food court. Everything's closed. They're the only people there. Peggy calls her mom and lets them know that they're not going to make it for Thanksgiving. They're all sitting around a table and they look really, really sad. Did I mention nothing's open? Like, nothing in the food court is open.
Yeah,
There's no food or anything.
Open.
Nothing's open.
Oh.
They are sitting there and soon discover that Boomhauer is also there, the Supernewson phones, and John Redcorn, because everyone's flight was canceled. So they show up. For some reason, Dale, Nancy, and Joseph are still at the airport too. I mean, it's the next day. They're still there. Apparently, Dale was trapped outside in the freezing cold all night. All night. Nancy presumably was with John Redcorn fucking this entire time. I don't know where the hell Joseph has been, but he shows up too. So everyone is there and they're all sitting around sad, and then Hank gives some speech about, like, well, our plans are being canceled, but at least we're all still together, and I have a stick of gum, so I'll share that with everyone. And then everyone else is like, oh, well, I have like a can of yams, and I have like a whole bag of peanuts because I tried to bang some flight attendants, and I have like a sugar packet or whatever. Somebody has a pizza. So they kind of MacGyver together this little makeshift Thanksgiving dinner. And it's not the Thanksgiving they planned for, but it's the Thanksgiving they have. And they're able to make it a little bit special.
It's the Thanksgiving they deserve for being so bad at being in an airport.
I know. If it was just Peggy, she would have been in Montana already.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much the episode.
Wow. Good job. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay.
So, Amy, give it to me.
We talked about some of the things, most of the things that I wrote down, like just so furious that Hank gave up their spot on the bus. That made me so mad.
Yeah.
I will say though, a smoked or deep fried turkey is, oh, mamacita, so damn good. They're so good. So I would like to try Hank's smoked turkey.
I bet it's good.
I bet it's delicious. I really love the classic dad move of Hank making sure that they arrive 18 hours before the flight.
Oh
my dad
God.
did that exact same thing to us when we were flying to Ireland. Our flight was at 8:30 p.m. and we left to go to the airport at 10 a.m. We got there and there was nothing I could say to be like, Dad, we don't have to go that earlier. He's, his dad anxiety of making sure we get there on time. And then we got there so early, the check-in counter wasn't even open.
No!
We had to wait for like 2 hours, and then our flight was delayed until like midnight.
I've definitely had that experience with my very own dad where we get there so early. He's like, did you check in? And I'm like, no, it's not open yet.
Yeah, no, of course I didn't. Just classic. Why is it every single one? Everyone is like that. Oh,
I like that quote by him. He's just, they're loading in their stuff into the car, and Hank's like, come on, Bobby, it's almost 10 a.m. With the Dallas traffic, we won't get to the airport until noon, and the flight leaves at 4, with or without us.
Well, there goes my only trivia question. I knew it, but Hey. Anyway, I know I do love that. I love that moment. It always makes me think of my dad. It's like, oh, come on. When Bobby is forced, how dare they, to eat a salad, a terrible, disgusting salad. Peggy's like, he needs protein or he'll die. Like, rip off one of those turkey's legs. And she says something like, Thanksgiving will go on with a one-legged turkey. And Hank just says, one-legged turkey? I'm not even going to dignify that with a response other than shame on you.
Oh, so Hanky.
I know, so ridiculous. I love in the when they're about to get on the plane finally after it's been delayed. The overhead comes on and says something along the lines like, so we're really sorry for the delay, like the overnight delay, but we're going to go ahead and comp you a headset. like headphones. Those those shitty, terrible headphones. Like, don't worry, we'll give you a free pair of headphones.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Okay. And the next morning when they are back, they're at the airport, Con comes in and he's like, haha, Hank, I got the best night of sleep because I used my points to get a suite and it was lovely and I'm so refreshed. And Hank's just like, well, I was too excited to sleep. I tell you what, I'm going to visit my in-laws. Can you hear her?
Oh, there we go.
You silly goose. You're so annoying. Get out of here. All right. I love Peggy's line when they're about to get on that bus. Hank, they are jammed butt to gut in there. That's how, oh my God. I went to the Women's March in DC and just getting a train back to the hotel was absolute chaos. And it was literally butt to gut. Like, I was facing straight forward, looking deep into a man's eyes, just our entire body touching. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but we had to get on this train.
It was like that when
it's okay.
When I lived in Boston too. If I was getting on the train at rush hour, I was always running late, of course. And so I was like, if I don't get on, I have to get on this train or I'm going to be late for my class. And sometimes the only space would be on the first step going up onto the train. And I would have to like hunch over and be bent over on this step. I did that so many times.
Oh my God.
I remember one time it was like so packed with people. I remember texting you and being like, I'm on this packed train and I have to fart so bad. And you were just like, just do it. No one will know it's you.
No one would know. They'll never know where it came from.
And I tried and I couldn't.
Yeah, you can't try too hard or you'll end up shitting your pants and then everyone will know that it was you.
Exactly.
I remember that. And I think that's just about it. Although I did think I was kind of like, where are they pulling this big box of this pizza box and a can of yams and a bag of peanuts? They didn't have. Where were they hiding those?
I know, a can of yams.
I know why.
Just in his pocket.
And that's pretty much all I got.
Well, not that I want to get into it, but you know, of course, the question of Luann's dad does come up.
Mm-hmm.
He's out off of his oil rig on a one-day pass, but we do find out later that he's not on an oil rig.
Right.
He's somewhere else.
He's in prison.
Mm-hmm. So I was wondering how they were going to reckon with that, but I just wanted to kind of touch on that. Mm-hmm. There's a few, I feel like, kind of classic lines in this episode. One is when the Gribbles are driving John Redcorn to the airport, and Dale turns to John Redcorn. He's like, hey, do your people even celebrate Thanksgiving? And John Redcorn says, we did once.
Oh, God.
That is a classic line. Another classic line by Peggy. The day before Thanksgiving, in my opinion, is the busiest travel day of the year. Another one that I feel like is pretty classic also is they're at the gate waiting to get on their plane when they first get to the airport, and Luann goes up to Hank and she's like, Uncle Hank, a man just asked me if I wanted to join the Mile High Club. Could you get me an application? And then Hank is just like, well, I would think they would have them on the plane, Luann. Like, neither of them gets it. So those are, I feel like, just some really standout quotes. Mm-hmm. I like talking about how early Hank left for the airport. I do like that Khan kind of makes fun of him for it. Khan sees him at the airport once they get there, and he's like, hey, Hank Hill, I saw you leave your house at 10 a.m. We left 5 hours later, and you're still waiting, you dumb redneck. And then I was just like, thank you for saying that. And then I love Hank's response. He's just like, okay, happy Thanksgiving. And then Khan's like, oh yeah, you too.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, hey, thanks, you too.
I like once they get on the plane the next day after they've spent the night there, Luann gets to be bumped up to first class because she has a ticket where, you know, she paid full fare for her ticket, and I guess she was able to be bumped up to first class for whatever reason. So she's on the everyone's on the plane waiting. I think it's before the turkey gets blown up, and yeah, it has to be. And she's in first class, and she's just like, you know, wow, first class is awesome. How amazing. And she turns and she sees a curtain separating first class and coach, and she asks the flight attendant, that curtain over there, what is it for? And the flight attendant says, it separates first class from coach. And Luann says, I'd like that closed. And then just goes to sleep looking angry and smug.
She gets right into the role
of
being in first class.
And then the last quote I wrote down was, once everyone comes together at the end at the empty food court, you know, Boomhauer kind of walks up, Con, Min, Connie show up, Dale, Joseph, John Redcorn and Nancy kind of show up at the same time, but John Redcorn's trying to play it off, and he says, oh, Nancy, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. And then just to, like, keep up appearances, he turns to Dale and he's like, oh, Dale, I was looking for you as well. And I just thought that was an awesome John Redcorn line. And that's pretty much it. All right, Amy, do we have a listener comment song for this week?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a listener comment song. We actually have like 2.
Okay.
So,
Wow. Great job, everyone. Thank you.
yes. Let's see. So this one is from Lance D.
Hey.
Okay, Lance. Oh, and they say AKA Fruit Pie Fan from our Instagram.
Excellent.
So Lance also he says, if you can use it, here's a listener comments quote unquote song for the Happy Thanksgiving episode. It's an airline themed promo. I'm the same person who did the listener comment song that was like a monster truck commercial a few months back.
That was great.
Yes, indeed. All right, so are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Hopefully I can bump it up. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Thank you for choosing Ho Yeah Podcast. Today's trip to Happy Thanksgiving listener comments may include terrible airline stories, exploding turkeys, and uncles named Bill, Stan, or Stu. Now, an update from your captain. Looks like we should have smooth listening for you folks today. Be sure to tip your hosts, Amy and Jackie, via Patreon. And now you'll be listening for the rest of your life.
Oh my god! the captain was incredible.
Thank you, Lance.
Oh my god, that was awesome, Lance. That's exactly what they sound like every single time. They could be talking about that you're going to be flying through a tornado and a hurricane, and they're going to be in the same monotone pitch the entire time, no matter what.
There's a tornado if you look out the right window and buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride, and we'll try to keep it as smooth as possible. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
They always throw something on at the end that you just can't understand.
He's just mumbling like, "Where's my drink?"
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Lance. That was wonderful.
Oh, man, that was good. Thank you. Yes. That's what I'm talking about, people. Get those listener comment songs in.
That's right. Now let's get to the listener comments, huh?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. So right off the bat, I see one from Kathy and Jimmy.
Yes. Yes.
And all it says was, "I was sleepy."
I was sleepy.
Okay.
Yes. I was sleepy. Love it.
Perfect.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know. I love it.
Kathy to Jimmy.
DJ Pop K. Pop says from Bill, "What can I bring this year, Hank? Straws?"
Nomio says, "The lack of sincerity from John Redcorn. Oh, Dale, I searched for you as well."
Yes. Oh, but I love right, same exact scene. 5-star man says, "The only thing that kept me going was my will to smoke again." Dale after being rescued, not his wife, not his child, but to have one more cigarette.
Ryan Film Lover says, "Screw airports. I can't think of a quote. Fuck airports."
That's the headline for this episode.
Yes, perfect.
Shmoo Parcher says from Bobby, "What happens when he gets to 3?" Peggy says, "Oh, he doesn't know."
Yeah.
We got one right on top of each other. 3. Becca Thunderdome, ZJ Morshpiv, And Alexandra _McKen, somebody says, "I'm sorry, Admiral, there's no smoking in the terminal building." And then, "You're not sorry, and I'm not an admiral."
Nurse and Embers, it says in parentheses, it says in parentheses, panting, "Cookies."
Nurse and Embers also says, "I could see Amy and Jackie trying to sneak into an airline's VIP lounge." Hell yeah. Absolutely.
It's impossible.
It is.
It is. ZJ Morschpiva, unless I'm horribly mispronouncing something very simple, which is possible. ZJ Morschpiva says, quote by Bill, "I said Stan." I love that quote. Bill's uncle's name keeps changing, and then when he drops him off at the airport or something, then Bobby's like, "Oh, I hope you have a good weekend with your uncle Stan or Steve or whatever." Or Bill says something like, "I have to go pick up my uncle Stan or Steve," and then like Bobby's like, "I thought his name was Stan," and then what does Bill say? Like, "Fine, you win."
Yeah, Hank's like, "Well, I thought you said Stu or something." He's like, "Fine, Hank, you win, Uncle Stu." He's like very clearly like, "You know I'm lying, and I know you know I'm lying, so please stop pointing it out."
Yeah. Box Office Poison says, "Margarine."
A nice follow-up to that. No mio mio. "Which I have made every year since 1976 until I die, inclusive."
Inclusive. Essay Danio says, "We're gonna do it your way, Peggy, the dirty way."
Oh. I love this. I don't know why I never wrote down this quote, but some tribe says, "Peggy, I think that's Tom Ganaway." Just because Hank watches some random guy get called over the intercom and he gets up and he's so excited to be like, "That's him. That's the guy."
I know. I never noticed that before either.
I know.
I was sleepy.
I know. Oh.
Catherine Moore asks, "Why didn't Hank just deep fry the turkey there?"
Who knows?
I wondered that as well, but then I thought, well, maybe he would have to buy a deep fryer, and I don't know how expensive those are.
Well, yeah, he'd probably have to buy the smoker. He'd have to buy the propane, and I could imagine him not trusting somebody else's propane over his own. You know?
Yeah. I'm sure he's a propane purist.
Yes, he is. He knows that Strickland's gas is the gassiest.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. Arbitrary and Delicious says, "Hank's Thanksgiving ritual includes eating dessert to Home Alone. I am so wet."
Another quote from Nomiomio, that guy shouting, "You're an ass!" to that gate announcer. And the last one from me by the Mitten Patel. You would think, the Mitten Patel. I mean, I might be saying that wrong. The Might and Patel. Anyway, the Might and Pate. Oh, okay. You would think Hank is so rule-abiding, he would have known you can't bring propane on a plane. I know.
Seriously.
He acts like it's a person.
Truly. Like it's his baby that you're putting in a locker. And my last one is M. Messiah says, "Hank not buying Luann's ticket with the family tickets. Where does he think she gets money?"
Thank you.
Seriously.
She famously has no money.
Very famously has asked him for money many, many times already.
Well, those were great. We also asked everyone to share their nightmare airport airplane stories / times they were fooled by a sticker.
I forgot forgot about the sticker. Oh, God. Oh.
So I'm going into there now. The first one that popped up is from Catherine Moore, who says, I was flying home for Christmas. Flight got canceled, and my dad called to tell me my uncle died.
Oh, God.
That's terrible.
Fuck. Right off the bat with a terrible. Oh. Damn. Sorry, girl. We got an email, too. We got one from Sean R., Arbitrary and Delicious. And it says, Flying Nightmare Story. Years ago, my family went to California for a vacation. It was nice enough, but everyone kept joking that I was the travel jinx because weird stuff would happen around me. Like the waiters in every restaurant tripped as they passed me, or my tickets had weird errors. On the flight back to New York City, we noticed we should have landed forever ago, that we seemed to be circling the airport a la Die Hard 2, and there were ambulances all over the tarmac. Suddenly, the pilot comes on the speaker and says that they can't get the landing gear to come out, so they don't know what they're supposed to do at the moment. My entire family leans over and glares at me because apparently it was my fault. It's okay, we landed eventually without a problem, but I continued to be a legit travel jinx for years after on trains and buses.
Oh my God. You and me both, my friend.
If I heard a pilot say that our landing gear wasn't coming down and I don't know what to do, I just immediately panic and open the emergency exit.
I know. Don't mention a problem, then say, we don't know what to do about it.
I know. God.
Here's a short one from Colin Heersmeyer. Colin Heermeyer. Cross-country flight next to a person and a small dog wearing a diaper. The smells.
Oh.
And then they have another one that says, dog flight person again. They got up twice an hour to change the diaper, and I was the aisle seat.
Oh my God. That would make me hate all dogs.
Oh,
I would be so furious.
Yes.
Oh, on an airplane? And it's such a small, confined area?
And dog poo smells so bad.
And it's so intense. It's so, like, in your face. There's no getting rid of that poop smell once it's there.
God.
Oh, I hope you complained and got, like, free tickets for life, because I would have raised such hell. I would have been a total asshole about it.
Absolutely. I would have insisted on another seat.
At the very least. Oh, the Abby Yo says, my first ever flight was to see a guy I had started dating in college in his home state. He dumped me on the last day of the trip and drove me back to the airport in silence.
Oh,
you poor thing. What's his Instagram? Give us his Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll just talk to him for a little bit.
Yeah, message it to us and then we'll blast it. Kelly_Lesolo says, my flight Frankfurt to JFK, Ukrainian old couple next to me, undressed satin undies.
What? Oh my God. Oh my God. People are so just socially inept.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe that's standard. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. Get in your underwear, be real comfy.
Not that big of a deal there. Maybe that's just Maybe that's polite, you know.
that's good point. Good point. Nurse and Ember says, I once missed a flight because I was too engulfed by the burrito I got in the terminal.
And they say, I remember getting to the gate too soon before takeoff and they wouldn't let me on.
So they went to get a burrito. And then
AKA Miguel Sanchez says, immigrated to the U.S. via airplane in 1990, filled up 3 sickness bags with vomit before we landed.
Oh, God.
Have you ever thrown up on a flight?
No, I've never thrown up on a flight.
I kind of did once, and it was a short flight from Boston to New York to see my dad. for the holidays, and it was so turbulent.
Oh boy.
I mean, we must have been the last flight to take off before they canceled all the other flights. It was just from the time we took off to the time we landed, it would not stop shaking. And I actually kind of like turbulence because I feel like it rocks me to sleep. But this was just like up and violently drop down and up and left and right. And I started to get that feeling, that feeling right before you throw up where you have to start like swallowing and you're just like, I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm fine. And like, then I started sweating and I grabbed that bag and I just like started dry heaving into it, and really not really anything came out, but that was the first time that's ever happened to me. That was
completely understandable. That violent drop on an airplane? Get the fuck out of here. On a roller coaster all day, every day, give me more. But on an airplane, I would rather just be dead. I can't handle that feeling.
What an awful feeling to be sick on an airplane.
Crimes Universe says 2016, flying Denver to Atlanta, wanted to bring back 3 edibles but got anxious right before security, so I dipped into the personal phone / computer desk booth and chowed down on all 3. That 12 a.m. flight was the best / worst I ever had, regardless if I remember the flight or not.
Good grief.
That sounds like a brutal trip.
Yes.
Oh. All right. So those were some terrible but great airplane stories.
Airplane stories.
Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. And let's all
Much
hope
appreciated.
and let's all hope that when we can fly again, everything is perfectly smooth. There's no turbulence. There's plenty of tampons wherever you get stuck. No throw ups. No turkeys exploded into a million pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's just great, and your pilot isn't hammered.
No diapers.
No diapers.
Mm-mm. Let's hope.
Let's hope. One can dream.
One can dream. Probably not, but I did hear one fun fact. I heard that on most flights, there's at least one dead body being transferred.
I've heard that too. At least
just something
one.
to think about.
Just got a little knock around in your noodle.
Yeah.
Maybe go and find it. It'll be like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Find a dog wearing a diaper, a dead body.
Yes. Mm-hmm. A snarky flight attendant, a drunk pilot,
and a bag full of throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you win. World's worst flight.
Yeah. Can we start complaining now?
Yeah, I would love to start complaining.
Okay, I'll make this quick. All I want to say is, I have... Oh my God. The airport is such a nightmare. I have 2 stories that I wanted to highlight that reminded me of this episode. One was, Will and I we were flying Spirit, of course, and we got trapped at the airport in Orlando because of weather or whatever. The flight was delayed hours and hours later, and then finally it was canceled. So Spirit says, don't worry, we're going to have you on the first flight the next day. Meanwhile, we have a bus waiting outside for all of you. Get on that bus. We will take you to a hotel, and you will have a hotel room, and then it'll pick you up. We'll bring you back the next day. And I remember saying, wow, you know what? This totally changes how I feel about Spirit. Completely. We get on the bus, and we get to the hotel, only to find out that the hotel is full. None of us can get a room. So we get back on the bus, go back to the airport, and everyone on our flight ends up sitting at the gate until about 3 a.m. And then they're just like, all right, here's a voucher for a motel, and here's a voucher for a cab. And we were like, all right, we get in the cab. The motel is like a half hour away. We have enough time to sleep for 2 hours until we have to get back so we can go through security again. That was a nightmare. But I did literally get stuck at Dallas, Fort Worth overnight one time.
Oh my God.
We got on a flight going to, I think it was to the Raleigh airport in North Carolina. It was Spirit. That flight had a connecting flight going to Portland, where I lived at the time. But surprise, our flight left late. So we missed our connecting flight. And then the genius at the gate there said, don't worry, I'm going to put you on this flight going to Dallas, Fort Worth. And from there, you'll be able to get another flight. And we were like, great. Put us on it. Well, the flight in North Carolina leaves late. And so when we land in Dallas, Fort Worth, we've missed our flight again. We go to the gate, and you know what they say to us? You should really get here earlier so you don't miss your flight. And we said, well, you know, that's not, it left late. There's literally nothing we can control here.
Literally nothing you could have done.
Nothing to control here. What could I do differently? There's nothing. What are our options? And they said, there's a flight leaving tomorrow. If there's space, we'll put you on it. Like, if also, what the fuck are we supposed to do now? And they said, we don't know. And they left. And we were trapped in the Dallas airport overnight. I unexpectedly got my period.
Oh my God.
All of the stores were closed. I couldn't buy any food. I couldn't buy any tampons. I couldn't buy any pads. I couldn't buy any Advil. Finally, I shelled out $400 for a hotel room in the hotel that was in the airport. Just so I could. My thinking was, I just need to shower because I'm covered in blood. And I need to get a tampon. And
so I pay $400.
And they don't even have tampons at this hotel.
How dare they?
How dare they? No I go to the front desk. I'm just like, is there no tampons? I was able to get 2 because the ladies that worked there went into their purses and gave me tampons.
That feeling of not having a tampon or a pad or something, and all of a sudden you get your period, it is like, it is just such a overwhelmingly terrifying
I don't
thing.
have a change of underwear. I don't have a change of pants. I just have to shower and put this shit back on. And then, but then the next day we're getting on the plane, and I have a Luann moment where they're just like, we only have 1 seat available, and it's in first class, and they call Will's name. They're like, is there a Will, Roberts here? And he walks up to the gate, and he turns and looks at me, and he's just like, can my girlfriend have that seat?
Thank
God
you did that, Will.
I'm covered in blood, sleep deprived, just so nasty. And I get on this plane,
Will.
And it's first class, but I immediately passed out. I don't remember, I wasn't awake for any of it. But those are just that's just the tip of the iceberg. But motherfucking Spirit Airlines.
Terrible.
Awful.
Oh my God. That is such a horrible experience. Holy shit.
It's crazy how bad it is. And then meanwhile, my mom is just like, I don't understand why you're not wearing your nice jewelry and heels or something. It's like, what? You don't understand. It's like going into the Hunger Games. I have to wear the most comfortable. I always put 2 extra pairs of underwear in one of my fanny packs now.
I was gonna say, just wear a pad every time you go to the airport.
I just put a tampon in just to be safe.
Just to be safe.
No surprises. No. See, you gotta have those street smarts.
You're not gonna get me again, Spirit.
Not this time. They always find something new, but it makes me stronger. Anyway. And
I was trying to think, I was like, I guess I haven't had that many terrible experiences, but that's not true. I don't know why I thought that. I remember one time, Jackie, I was actually with Marina. We were flying out to Vegas to meet you and your mom.
Oh, yeah.
Your mom generously bought us first class tickets to go to Vegas.
I know.
And to see Elton. We were going to see Elton John.
Oh.
And oh my God. So Marina and I were like, hell yeah, live in luxury. We get on the plane, and of course, it's delayed. It's delayed. So it takes off late. And we were flying into the Atlanta airport, which if anybody has, a lot of people have been to the Atlanta airport because it's fucking massive.
Oh, it's so big.
But anytime you have a connecting flight, I feel like it's guaranteed you get only 45 minutes. There's never longer than 45 minutes, or it's 5 hours, because I've had that happen too.
I always do the 5-hour one, and then I just go get like a pedicure.
Absolutely.
Because
that's the way
you're
to
not
do it.
going to make, if it's less than an hour, you're not going to make it.
Which is exactly what happened. And whenever you fly into Atlanta, your airplane that gets in is going to be at the furthest possible terminal from the one that you need to get to. It's going to be at the absolute opposite fucking end.
Guaranteed.
Which is exactly what happened to us. So we had like maybe 10-15 minutes to get to the absolute opposite side. And I'm not in the best of shape. And Marina and I are running through this entire airport. We're getting on different buses to get to the other side. We have to literally climb up a broken escalator, which I don't know. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I had to push an old lady out of my way because she wasn't, I was like, excuse me. And she wasn't moving. So I just straight up shoved her against the side of the escalator.
It's that street smarts. I'm telling you, these are the things you have to do.
Well, so we're doing this. We're fucking hoofing it. I am bright red. I am breathing as if I'm going to pass out. Eventually we get close to the gate and I'm like, Marina, just fucking run and tell them to wait for me because I will be there in like 2 minutes. But I'm running out of gas here.
Yeah.
And she gets up there and they had literally just closed the door and they're like, we can't open it. We're like, no, we're gonna miss Elton John because of you. But they ended up getting us on another flight. And I was like, but it better be first class because we paid for first class. No, we didn't.
Damn right.
But we did get our first class and we got there just in time to see Elton John. And it was a magical trip. But that was like one of the worst things. I had that happen again with the Atlanta airport. Thank God I made it in time. But I was literally, they were about to close the door. And I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not closing that door. Let me in.
I'm going to open it.
And of course, the plane that I was getting on, because it was like a little small one that's going from Gainesville or Atlanta to Gainesville. So they're tiny planes. They're not big ass jumbo jets. So I'm like trying to squeeze my body through the aisle and I'm just smashing everyone because I'm the last person. And of course, my seat's at the very back of the plane. And I'm just hitting people with all of my bags, all of my body, just smashing it. I'm sorry.
They design it that way. They load everyone in the front on first, so you have to feel uncomfortable walking by them.
It was just a nightmare. Just nightmare times. I've had the one with all the people eating cheese and farting uncontrollably. I was so hungover. It was the worst. And then a guy, he must have ate some sort of meal. He was back and forth to the bathroom, and every single time he came back and forth from the bathroom, he farted and crop dusted me. And it smelled so bad. And I was like, go back in there and don't come out until you're done. Until you're fully done. I was like, I am gonna rip your khakis off and just, I don't know, spank you.
You naughty boy.
You're so naughty. Now go wipe better.
I will say a little tip. I've been on many flights and I would get bored, so I would just go into the bathroom and just like poke around and see what I could find. And there is always a hidden compartment with tampons and pads. So I always take all of them except for one.
Just in case, just to be nice.
Case to be nice.
Talk about Airport street smarts.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I paid so much money for this ticket. I'm getting my money's worth.
All the tampons I can eat.
I'm telling you. I did like have the doors closed. I got to the airport like 4 hours early one time because I got a ride with someone that was going like earlier. And I sat at my gate for 4 hours and then they were loading. People were like getting onto the plane and I, standing next to the door, I like called my mom just to say like, hey, I'm getting on this plane, blah, blah, blah. And I got off the phone. I turned around and the door was shut. No one called my name. I'm like standing there and I'm like looking at the plane outside and I'm just like, hey, that's my plane. I need to get on it. And they're just like, sorry, you should have gotten here earlier. And I was like, I got here for me. They're just like, the door's closed. You missed your flight. So they sent me to this like little telephone pod where I like picked it up and I was just like, I picked up a telephone and I was like, hello. And they're just like, hello. And it was like an operator for the airline. And I explained my situation and they're like, I do have a flight leaving in an hour. I can put you on that. And I was like, that would be great. And they were just like, okay, it's going to be $800. And little tip to everyone, I immediately started crying.
Yes.
And I told them that my grandma died. And
Yep,
I
I've
got
done
that
that too.
flight for free.
Yeah. I've done that too. If I've had to cancel a flight and to get my money back, I was like, well, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to cry. Okay. And it worked like a charm.
It was crazy. The guy was just like, okay, I'm so sorry. If you could just tell me where the funeral was or like what happened. And I was literally just like, I can't remember the name, but it was across the street from a gas station. I gave like no details.
That's so depressing.
No details whatsoever. And I was on hold for like 3 minutes. And when the guy came back, he was just like, Jackie, I got you a flight on this like flight coming up. You get on it. There's a seat for you. And I'm so sorry. And I got onto the plane shaking. And the second they closed the door, I passed out. So a little tip to everyone.
Yep. And, and I didn't feel bad about saying my grandma had died because all of my grandmas were already dead. So
my grandma was alive at the time, but she told me I made the right choice.
Yeah.
$800. I didn't have that. What was I going to do? Just like never go home?
Yeah, I know. I if you were my granddaughter, I'd be like, brilliant. You're so smart.
Absolutely. All right. So, should we get into trivia?
We should, but if you remember, I don't have any because you already knew my first one.
It's been days, Amy.
I know. I've been
just kidding.
Way too busy to even
I know you're
coming
busy.
up with another trivia question.
All right. Well, I'll read mine. I think 2 of them might have been knocked out already. Anyway, so let me see.
It's
maybe
very likely I won't remember anyway.
Perfect. Okay. Amy.
Yes.
Hold on. I want to see your face while I read these to you. Amy.
Yes.
Where does Boomhauer's mom live?
Okay. I know it's in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And my first guess is Palm Bay, but I know it's not Palm Bay.
Mm-mm.
Palm Beach. West Palm
Nope.
Beach. Fuck! Myrtle Beach.
Nope.
Hollywood.
No.
Okay, I give up.
Miami Beach.
Miami. Well, oh, god dang it. I thought that was too obvious. I was like, that's way too obvious.
Amy.
Yes.
What separates us from the animals?
Our ability to cut ahead in line.
Yes.
I love that line from Peggy.
I think this one was already answered, but maybe you don't remember it. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
Amy.
Yes.
What year did Peggy start making her apple brown Betty?
1976. Through her
Yes.
death, inclusive.
Inclusive. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Last question.
okay.
Amy,
Mm-hmm.
who is Ted T. Ganaway?
Is he just a passenger, or is he a famous person?
Neither, but both maybe.
See, that's why at first I thought, oh wow, they must have had a famous person because like Hank seems excited about it. But I think it's funnier to think that he's just some guy that they heard over the loudspeaker.
Well, I can tell you who he is.
Ah!
Ted T. Ganaway is a presidential fringe candidate who appears only in The Perils of Polling. He's the guy that they run into at the fair who is, he's a fringe candidate, and let's see, they're kind of trying to ignore him. Let's see he introduces himself to Hank and explains that he's running for president. Hank, uninterested, politely explains that he and his wife, Peggy, are committed to voting for George W. Bush. And even if they weren't voting for him, there were 5 candidates ahead of him. He says that Governor Bush and Vice President Al Gore, they want you to focus on Ted T. Ganaway's hit and run conviction and not his 16-point plan for America.
God, that's right. The second you said fringe candidate, I immediately remembered that episode. Oh man,
Yep.
Because he's not the socialist one that Luann like initially likes, but he's just like the one fringe one who has a bunch of hit and run convictions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's who that is, which is so funny that they referenced that.
I know.
And last, what's the next episode?
Not in my backhoe.
Not in my backhoe.
I don't know who you think you are, but not in mine.
Not in my backhoe.
Not even close to it. Back up. Ho. Sorry.
Not in my back, comma, ho.
Exactly.
So this is kind of we have a guest star this episode, but it's not somebody who's blending into the background or is judge number 3. It's actually the story kind of revolves around the guest star, which is Drew Carey.
That's right. For the next episode.
Basically playing himself.
Yes.
Possibly Hank's long lost brother.
Yes. That's the theory that I subscribe to the most.
I can see it.
I can see it. Very, very much so. Very much so. I just like this one because I like whenever the guys get drunk, like truly drunk. And there's just one little scene with Dale and Bill in it that I really love.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's interesting. It's hard to make friends as an adult, and it's hard to introduce new friends to your old friends. So it's kind of a relatable episode. But if you've ever found out that your father had another secret family, write in and let us know.
Oh, wow. Juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, please
If you have any like juicy gossip at all that's not related, you can share that with us too. I'd love to have a gossip corner.
We love the hot goss. Always.
But that's about it. Anything else, Amy?
That's it. That's all we got. Well, just due to my moving situation, the following week we will not be releasing a new episode. We might possibly re-release an old one, but for right now we won't have a new one, but then we will be back on schedule.
Yes.
Schedule.
So bear with us as we go through this transition, but Amy will finally be living where I'm living, and hopefully we can finally start working on choreographed dances,
yes,
and things of that nature.
Oh God. I'm terrified.
I'm sure it'll be mostly arm stuff. Our feet will barely move.
Perfect.
Maybe we could learn the choreography to Rhythm Nation.
Okay.
It's just shoulders.
Perfect.
We're all part of the Rhythm Nation. Okay. All right. Well, thank you to Kathy and Jimmy for leaving a listener comment.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone else for leaving comments and listening and joining us every week. Please leave us 5 stars, 5-star review on iTunes. Call us, email us, and send us your gossip if you're so inclined.
Yes, please.
And that's it. And until next time,
Via
con
con
Dios.
Dios. Bye, 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 bye.
I'll just play Rhythm Nation on the way out. Because why the hell not?
That always makes me think of Rhythm is a Dancer.
Rhythm is a dancer.
I know it's not the right one. I know I'm not thinking of the right one. Lift your hands and voices
anywhere. Is a tension. Whoa, you can feel it in the air.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.